The first step toward getting whatever you want in life is to gain clarity on what it is that you truly want. You cannot move toward a destination if you do not know where that destination is. For most people, clarity is elusive. They may say they want success, happiness, or peace, but these are abstract ideas that lack specific meaning. What does success look like for you? What does happiness feel like for you? What does peace mean to you? If you do not have a clear picture of what these things look like in your life, how can you expect to achieve them? Clarity is the foundation of all achievement. Without it, you are like a ship drifting in the ocean without a compass, hoping to reach the shore but not knowing which shore you are headed for. The direction you take will be influenced by external factors, the waves of life, the winds of circumstance. And, while life can sometimes guide you toward unexpected shores, it is much more likely that you will wander aimlessly, wasting precious time and energy. Many people never stop to question what they want. They live on autopilot, reacting to external circumstances, and their desires are often driven by the expectations and pressures of society, family, or peers. Their wants are not born from a deep understanding of themselves, but are instead influenced by what others deem important. This is why many people chase goals that do not truly fulfill them. They chase money, status, or approval, thinking that these things will bring them happiness, only to find that when they achieve them, they feel empty. They got what they wanted, but it wasn't really what they wanted in the first place. This lack of clarity creates dissatisfaction and a constant cycle of chasing after fleeting desires without ever feeling truly fulfilled. Clarity comes when you take the time to connect with your true self. It requires introspection and a willingness to ask yourself deep questions about your life. What are the things that truly matter to you? What brings you joy, not just momentary pleasure, but real, lasting joy? What makes you feel alive, connected, and fulfilled? These questions are essential because the clearer your vision of your desires is, the easier it will be to align your actions with them. The process of gaining clarity begins by acknowledging that you have the power to define your own desires. Often, people feel pressured to follow the paths laid out for them by society. But when you gain clarity, you start to see that you are not bound by the expectations of others. You can choose your own path. Clarity comes from understanding that you are the creator of your own desires. You do not have to follow a script that someone else wrote for you. One of the ways to gain clarity is by becoming aware of your feelings. Your emotions are a reflection of what is important to you. If you feel frustration, anger, or sadness, these are signals that something is out of alignment with your desires. On the other hand, when you feel joy, excitement, and peace, it is a sign that you are moving toward what you truly want. Your emotions can act as a guide, showing you the direction you should be heading in. But to use them as a compass, you must be willing to tune into them and be honest with yourself about how you are feeling. Often, people suppress their emotions because they are uncomfortable or difficult to face. But when you deny your emotions, you also deny yourself the opportunity to understand what you truly want. Another aspect of gaining clarity is the willingness to let go of distractions and external influences. The world is full of noise, advertisements, social media, news, and other people's opinions, all of which can cloud your judgment and prevent you from seeing what you truly desire. To gain clarity, you must filter out these distractions and spend time in solitude, allowing your inner voice to speak. When you remove the clutter from your life, you create space for your own desires to emerge. This might take time, and it may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is essential for clarity. The clearer you become about what you want, the more focused your energy will be. A person with clarity knows exactly where they are going. They are not swayed by every new opportunity that comes their way. They are able to say no to distractions because they are laser, focused on their vision. This focused energy creates momentum. When you are clear about what you want, you naturally begin to take the right actions that will bring you closer to your goal. You no longer waste time on things that are not aligned with your true desires. Clarity also involves understanding why you want what you want. Many people seek external goals without understanding the deeper motivations behind them. For example, you may want to earn a certain amount of money, but why? Is it for freedom, security, or validation? When you understand the deeper reasons behind your desires, you can approach them with greater purpose and meaning. This deeper understanding provides the fuel to keep going, even when challenges arise. It is not enough to simply want something on the surface level. You must know the root of your desire to stay motivated and resilient in the face of obstacles. Clarity empowers you to make decisions that are in alignment with your goals. It helps you recognize what is worth your time and energy and what is not. It allows you to say yes to the right opportunities and no to the wrong ones. When you are clear about your desires, life becomes less confusing and more purposeful. Clarity removes the fog and allows you to move forward with confidence. To get whatever you want, it is not enough to simply wish for it. You need to align yourself, your thoughts, emotions, actions, and energies in such a way that they are in harmony with the universe. Most people are unaware of the fact that they are not even in alignment with themselves. They are constantly pulled in different directions by the chaos within their minds, the turbulence in their emotions, and the conflict between their inner and outer worlds. When you are disjointed internally, you cannot expect the world to respond to you in a coordinated and beneficial way. The human mind is a complex system of thoughts, memories, desires, and expectations. Yet, most people are so absorbed in their thoughts and emotions that they become unaware of the fact that their mind is driving them in all kinds of directions. One moment you may feel excited about something, but the next, that excitement fades and another thought takes over. This constant swing between different states of mind, from desire to frustration, from hope to despair, creates confusion. Confusion in your mind creates instability in your actions, and your actions reflect that same instability. When you lack alignment, your energy becomes scattered. You may have 100 different desires at the same time, but because you cannot focus on one thing with clarity, your energy becomes dissipated. This scattered energy leads to frustration, because no matter how much effort you put into something, it does not seem to yield the results you desire. The mind may say, "I want this," but it is often disconnected from your deeper intentions. Without clarity and focused energy, the universe responds to you in a fragmented way, offering you responses that are as inconsistent as your own state of being. Alignment, however, is not about forcing yourself into a rigid structure or following a set of rules. It is about tuning yourself into the natural rhythm of life, where your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony with the larger flow of existence. Think of it as an orchestra. Each instrument plays a part, but they must all be tuned to the same pitch, moving in unison to create harmony. If even one instrument is out of tune, the music will sound off. Similarly, when your mind, body, and energy are not in tune, life seems like a discordant melody. You may be moving, but you are not moving forward. In alignment, you are like an instrument that has been tuned to the universe. When you are in tune with yourself, your actions come effortlessly. There is no resistance to what you do, because your body and mind are cooperating. You do not have to force yourself into doing something. You are naturally propelled toward it. Alignment gives you a sense of ease because your energy is flowing in a singular direction. Every thought, every action, and every breath is leading you closer to your goal. You stop expending energy fighting against yourself, and instead, the energy flows freely in the direction you want. When you align yourself, you start to notice that the world around you begins to align too. The people, circumstances, and opportunities that come into your life are no longer random. Instead, they begin to fall into place, as if life itself is responding to the clarity and focus you have within yourself. The universe does not work against you, it works through you. If you are clear and aligned within yourself, the universe has no choice but to respond in kind. What you want begins to come toward you with little effort on your part because your energy has created the conditions for it to manifest. But this alignment cannot be forced. It must come from a deep understanding of who you are. When you are truly aligned, you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. Instead, you become the creator of your reality. This is not about manipulating the world around you, but about being so connected to your inner self that everything outside you reflects that connection. When you are aligned, you know that everything is already within you, and the world will merely mirror what is happening within. Alignment also requires stillness. In a world full of noise, distractions, and constant stimulation, it can be easy to lose touch with yourself. But it is in the stillness, when you silence the mind, that you can begin to truly hear your own intentions, your deeper desires, and your true purpose. When the noise quiets, your energy becomes directed, your thoughts become clear, and your actions become purposeful. You stop reacting to the external world and start responding from a place of inner knowing and alignment. When you are in alignment, there is no force. You do not need to push or pull the universe to get what you want. Things simply fall into place. This is why alignment is the key to getting whatever you want. It is not about struggle or forceful action. It is about becoming one with the flow of life and allowing the natural order of things to unfold. Desire is a powerful force in the human experience. It drives us to pursue our goals, dreams, and ambitions. It is what pushes us to move forward, to grow, and to transform our lives. But desire, when not understood or properly directed, can also be the source of much confusion and suffering. Most people misunderstand desire and think that it is the root of all their problems. The truth is, desire itself is not the problem. It is the confusion around our desires that creates the chaos in our lives. One of the fundamental aspects of desire is that it is always changing. It is constantly in flux, shifting from one thing to another. One moment, you may desire success in your career. The next, you may desire a fulfilling relationship. Another moment, you may desire financial freedom, only to find that what you truly want is peace of mind. This constant fluctuation of desires can create confusion because the goalposts are always moving. The mind constantly shifts between different wants and needs, and as a result, there is a lack of clarity. You may think you want one thing, but when you get it, you find yourself desiring something else entirely. This confusion causes internal conflict as you chase after one thing only to realize that it was not what you truly needed or wanted. This confusion stems from not fully understanding the deeper root of your desires. Often, we think we want something because we believe it will bring us happiness or fulfillment. However, when we get what we think we want, it does not provide the lasting satisfaction we expect. This is because desires are often driven by external factors, societal expectations, the opinions of others, or the fear of missing out. These external influences shape our desires, but they do not always align with our true selves. When you do not know the underlying motivation behind your desires, you may find yourself chasing after something that will not bring you peace or happiness. The key to understanding desire lies in recognizing that it is a natural and integral part of the human experience. It is not something to be suppressed or eradicated, but something to be understood and directed. When you are clear about your desires and understand their true nature, they become a tool for growth and fulfillment, not a source of confusion. The problem arises when desires are driven by external influences or the fleeting thoughts of the mind, rather than coming from a place of clarity and deeper understanding. When you are unclear about what you truly want, the mind becomes a battlefield of conflicting desires, each pulling you in a different direction. The first step in addressing this confusion is to pause and reflect. Take the time to examine your desires without judgment or expectation. Ask yourself, why do I want this? What is the deeper need that this desire is trying to fulfill? Is this desire truly mine, or is it something that I have inherited from society, family, or the people around me? When you begin to explore your desires from this perspective, you will start to see the difference between desires that are rooted in your true self and those that are influenced by external pressures. This process of self-reflection allows you to distinguish between what is essential and what is unnecessary, between what is aligned with your deeper values and what is merely a distraction. Once you have this clarity, you can begin to direct your desires in a way that is more aligned with your true nature. Instead of being constantly driven by external forces, you can become the master of your own desires. The mind will always generate desires, but when you are clear about what you truly need and want, you can channel that energy in a productive way. The key is to let go of the attachment to the outcomes of those desires. Most people suffer because they are attached to the idea that fulfilling their desires will bring them happiness, fulfillment, or peace. This attachment to the outcome creates suffering because life does not always unfold in the way we expect. The universe may bring you what you want, but it may not come in the form you envisioned. When you stop attaching your happiness to the fulfillment of desires, you free yourself from the confusion that comes with constantly chasing after new things. The mind will continue to generate desires, but when you are not attached to them, they no longer have the same power over you. You begin to live with a sense of detachment, not in the sense of not caring about anything, but in the sense of not letting your desires dictate your emotional state or well-being. This detachment allows you to approach your desires with clarity and wisdom, knowing that they are simply expressions of your energy, not the ultimate source of your happiness. Understanding desire also involves recognizing that fulfillment comes not from the external object of desire, but from within. If you are constantly seeking something outside of yourself to bring you happiness, you will always find yourself in a cycle of longing and disappointment. True fulfillment comes from within, from the sense of peace and contentment that arises when you are aligned with your true self. When you no longer rely on external desires to fulfill you, the confusion around your desires begins to dissipate. You start to realize that fulfillment is not about achieving a specific outcome, but about finding peace and contentment in the present moment, regardless of what you have or do not have. Ultimately, the key to overcoming confusion in your desires is to approach them with awareness. When you are aware of the underlying motivations behind your desires, you can make more conscious choices about how to act on them. Awareness helps you see whether your desires are coming from a place of clarity or confusion, from a place of genuine need or external influence. With this awareness, you can begin to shape your desires into something in life. We often find ourselves reacting to circumstances instead of responding to them. This reaction is rooted in impulse, emotion, or habit, and it is one of the primary reasons why we often feel out of control, stressed, or dissatisfied. Reactivity stems from a lack of awareness. When we are not mindful of our thoughts and emotions, we automatically react to situations based on past experiences, conditioning, or external stimuli. This reactivity clouds our judgment and makes it difficult to navigate through life with clarity and intention. Reactivity is driven by the ego, which is always seeking to protect itself or assert its dominance. When you react, you are essentially allowing your ego to take control of the situation. You may react out of anger, fear, frustration, or a desire to prove yourself. The moment you allow yourself to be driven by these impulses, you lose the power to choose how to respond to the situation. Your actions are no longer deliberate, they are impulsive, and often they lead to regret or unintended consequences. Reactive behavior can manifest in various forms, such as lashing out in anger, making hasty decisions, or giving in to temptation, all of which can disrupt your life and prevent you from achieving what you truly want. On the other hand, when you become less reactive and more responsive, your life begins to change in profound ways. A response is not driven by impulse or emotion, it is a thoughtful, conscious choice. When you respond to a situation, you take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose the most appropriate course of action based on your values, goals, and the larger context of the situation. Responding is about being present and mindful, while reacting is about being swept away by the force of emotions or conditioned patterns. The difference between the two lies in the ability to be aware of your inner state and consciously choose how to act. Being less reactive requires a shift in mindset and approach. It means developing a level of emotional intelligence that allows you to observe your feelings and impulses without being controlled by them. The more you understand your emotions, the better equipped you are to manage them. Emotions are natural, and they arise in response to external stimuli, but they do not need to dictate your actions. The key is not to suppress or ignore your emotions, but to allow yourself to feel them without being swept away by them. When you are aware of your emotions, you can recognize their presence without letting them control your behavior. This is the essence of mindfulness, being able to acknowledge your feelings and choose a response that aligns with your higher self and your long-term goals. In practical terms, this means learning to pause before reacting. When something happens, whether it's a challenging situation, an argument, or an unexpected setback, instead of immediately reacting, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to collect your thoughts. This pause allows you to detach from the immediate emotional response and assess the situation more rationally. It gives you the space to reflect on the consequences of your actions and choose the most constructive response. This simple act of pausing can have a profound impact on the quality of your decisions and ultimately on the course of your life. The ability to respond rather than react is also crucial when it comes to dealing with people. In relationships, whether personal or professional, it is easy to become reactive when others challenge us, criticize us, or behave in ways we do not agree with. Our natural tendency is often to defend ourselves, to react emotionally, or to retaliate. However, when you respond instead of react, you choose to approach the situation with a level of understanding, empathy, and compassion. You do not allow the actions of others to dictate your emotional state or your behavior. Instead, you approach the situation with a calm and clear mind, allowing you to respond in a way that aligns with your values and the kind of relationship you want to foster. This shift from reactivity to responsiveness is also crucial when it comes to achieving your goals. Many people set out to accomplish something, but are constantly derailed by distractions, setbacks, or the opinions of others. When you are reactive, you allow these external factors to control your actions, pulling you off course. However, when you are responsive, you stay focused on your path. You do not allow setbacks to discourage you or distractions to derail you. You acknowledge them, learn from them if necessary, and then continue moving forward with a clear sense of purpose. Being less reactive helps you maintain your inner stability and resilience, even when the external world seems chaotic or uncertain. One of the most significant benefits of being less reactive is that it allows you to make decisions from a place of inner strength rather than fear, anger, or frustration. When you respond, you are coming from a place of empowerment. You are not simply reacting to what life throws at you, but instead, you are actively shaping your own reality. You are no longer a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of your experience. This sense of empowerment is liberating because it means that you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or the whims of your emotions. You have control over your actions, and in turn, you have control over the direction of your life. Becoming less reactive also brings with it a sense of peace and calm. When you stop reacting to every situation with urgency or emotional intensity, you begin to experience a deep sense of inner peace. You are no longer at the mercy of your emotions or the chaos of the external world. This peace allows you to think more clearly, make better decisions, and engage with life in a more thoughtful and deliberate manner. As you practice responding instead of reacting, you will begin to notice how your life becomes more balanced and centered. Inner stillness is one of the most profound and transformative states a person can achieve. In a world that is constantly in motion, filled with noise, distractions, and the relentless pressure of daily life, finding stillness can feel like an almost impossible task. Yet, it is in this stillness that clarity, peace, and true power are found. Stillness is not the absence of action, but the presence of conscious, purposeful action that arises from a deep sense of inner calm. When you cultivate inner stillness, you align yourself with the deeper currents of life, allowing you to move through the world with a sense of ease, purpose, and confidence. In our fast-paced society, it is easy to become caught up in the frenzy of activity. Our minds are constantly racing with thoughts, worries, and expectations. We are bombarded with information, tasks, and obligations, and it can feel as though we are running on a treadmill, never quite getting anywhere. This mental and emotional noise creates a state of agitation within us, preventing us from seeing clearly and acting with intention. When we are agitated, our actions are often impulsive, reactive, and driven by external forces. We act out of fear, frustration, or stress, rather than from a place of wisdom and clarity. Stillness, however, is the antidote to this chaos. It is the ability to quiet the noise within your mind and create a space where you can listen to your inner voice. When you are still on the inside, you can see more clearly and act with greater awareness. This stillness allows you to step back from the constant pull of external demands and center yourself in the present moment. It is in this space of stillness that you can connect with your true self and align your actions with your deepest desires and values. One of the key benefits of inner stillness is that it allows you to make decisions from a place of wisdom rather than reaction. When you are caught up in the whirlwind of your thoughts and emotions, your judgment becomes clouded. You may act out of fear, make decisions impulsively, or respond to situations based on past experiences rather than present circumstances. Stillness, on the other hand, creates a sense of clarity and calm. In this state, you can observe your thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. You are no longer a slave to your mental and emotional states. Instead, you become the observer, able to choose how to respond to the world around you. The practice of cultivating inner stillness also allows you to tap into a deeper sense of creativity and intuition. When your mind is quiet and your emotions are at peace, you are more receptive to the subtle guidance that comes from within. This inner guidance, often referred to as intuition or instinct, is a powerful tool that can help you navigate life with greater ease and accuracy. The more still you become, the more you can hear the whispers of your inner wisdom, leading you toward the right decisions, the right people, and the right opportunities. Stillness opens the door to a higher level of perception, where you are able to see beyond the surface of things and tap into a deeper understanding of yourself and the world. In addition to enhancing your decision-making and intuition, inner stillness also brings a sense of peace and contentment. When you are constantly caught up in the chaos of life, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or dissatisfied. We often look to external circumstances to bring us happiness, a new job, a better relationship, more money, or a different environment. However, these external factors are fleeting and temporary. True peace comes from within. When you cultivate inner stillness, you begin to realize that peace is not something that needs to be sought outside of yourself. It is always present within you, waiting to be discovered. By quieting the mind and calming the emotions, you create the conditions for peace to arise naturally. As you experience this inner peace, you begin to see that external circumstances no longer have the power to disturb your sense of well-being. You become less affected by the ups and downs of life, and you develop a sense of inner stability that allows you to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. Inner stillness also enhances your ability to focus and concentrate. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to lose sight of your goals and become overwhelmed by the constant pull of competing demands. Stillness, however, helps you to center your attention on what truly matters. When you are still on the inside, your mind becomes more focused and clear. You are able to direct your energy and attention toward the tasks and goals that align with your purpose, without being distracted by irrelevant or unnecessary thoughts. This focused attention allows you to make significant progress in your endeavors, as you are able to give your full energy and presence to what you are doing. Stillness enables you to stay grounded and centered, even in the midst of external chaos. Another profound benefit of inner stillness is that it allows you to cultivate deeper connections with others. In relationships, whether personal or professional, stillness helps you to be fully present with others. When your mind is quiet and your emotions are in balance, you are able to listen more deeply and engage with others in a more meaningful way. You are not distracted by your own thoughts or reactions, but are truly attuned to the other person. This presence creates a sense of connection and understanding, fostering trust and intimacy in your relationships. By cultivating inner stillness, you become a more compassionate and attentive listener, able to offer support and guidance without being clouded by your own emotional responses. To develop inner stillness, it is necessary to create space in your life for stillness to arise. This may involve taking time each day to meditate, practice mindfulness, or simply sit in silence. It may also involve letting go of distractions and activities that create unnecessary noise in your life. The more you practice stillness, the more you will begin to experience its profound effects. It is a gradual process, but with consistent effort, you will begin to notice the subtle shifts in your mind and body. As you cultivate stillness, you will find that life becomes more peaceful, more purposeful, and more one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal when it comes to creating the life you want is the ability to take decisive action. While clarity and desire are essential in setting the foundation for your goals, it is the act of moving forward that brings those goals into reality. The universe does not respond to wishes, dreams, or intentions alone. It responds to the actions you take. The gap between where you are and where you want to be can only be bridged through consistent, purposeful action. Taking action is often easier said than done. Many people have grand ideas and big dreams, but they find themselves stuck in a cycle of planning, preparing, and waiting for the right moment to take action. They wait for the perfect circumstances or the ideal time to act. But here's the reality: the perfect moment rarely comes. Life is messy, unpredictable, and constantly changing, and if you wait for everything to be perfectly aligned, you will likely never take the first step. Action is not about waiting for the perfect conditions. It is about moving forward despite the uncertainty and imperfections. It's about starting where you are, with what you have, and trusting that the process will unfold as you move. When you commit to taking action, you are essentially saying to the universe, "I am ready for what I have asked for." Action is an affirmation of your intention. It's a way of showing that you are not just hoping for your dreams to come true, but that you are actively working towards them. Without action, desires remain just wishes. The energy that you put into your actions is what drives the manifestation of your goals. Whether it's the smallest step or a huge leap, each action you take brings you closer to your desired outcome. However, many people struggle with taking action because they are paralyzed by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are the invisible forces that hold people back from moving forward. Fear can create a state of inaction where you hesitate, second, guess yourself, or avoid taking the necessary steps altogether. This fear often arises because of self-doubt or a lack of confidence in your ability to succeed. But the key to overcoming fear is to realize that fear is not a signal to stop. It is simply a signal that you are stepping into something new, something that challenges you. The bigger the fear, the bigger the opportunity for growth. Fear is natural, but it should not dictate your actions. You cannot wait for fear to disappear before you act. The way to move past fear is not to eliminate it, but to act in spite of it. As you move forward despite fear, you begin to build confidence in your abilities and in yourself. Another obstacle that often hinders action is the belief that you need to have everything figured out before you start. Many people believe that they need a detailed roadmap or a clear plan before they take the first step. While it is important to have a vision and some level of planning, the truth is that you cannot plan for every eventuality. Life is unpredictable, and no amount of planning will give you a complete picture of what lies ahead. The key is to start. When you take that first step, even if it's uncertain or imperfect, you begin to gain experience and clarity along the way. The path will reveal itself as you move forward. Inaction often stems from overthinking, and the more you analyze and plan, the more likely you are to get stuck in a cycle of indecision. Action breaks this cycle and creates momentum. Momentum leads to progress, and progress leads to success. Another important aspect of taking action is the consistency with which you take it. It's not enough to take one big step and expect your dreams to materialize. Success is the result of consistent, everyday effort. This consistency is what transforms dreams into reality. Whether you are working toward a personal goal, a career goal, or any other form of success, it is the small, everyday actions that accumulate and eventually create the results you desire. Big goals are achieved through the power of incremental progress. Every small task, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, is a building block toward your ultimate objective. This requires discipline and perseverance, but it is the foundation of lasting success. Consistency also helps you to stay focused on the long-term vision, even when immediate results are not visible. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, it can be tempting to expect quick results from your efforts. However, true success takes time. By maintaining consistency, you stay the course even when the rewards are not immediate. Consistent action builds momentum and creates a snowball effect. As you continue to take action day after day, you begin to see results. The key is to trust the process, remain patient, and keep putting in the effort, knowing that every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Furthermore, taking action is not just about achieving external goals, it is also about developing yourself in the process. The act of taking action challenges you to grow and evolve. As you move forward, you will encounter obstacles, failures, and setbacks, but each challenge offers an opportunity to learn and grow. Every action you take teaches you something new about yourself, your capabilities, and the world around you. By embracing the process of taking action, you begin to develop resilience, creativity, problem-solving skills, and a deep sense of self-efficacy. These qualities are what make success sustainable, not just the achievement of the goal itself. Ultimately, action is a reflection of your commitment to your own growth and transformation. It is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. When you take consistent, deliberate action, you are signaling to the world that you are ready for the opportunities that come your way. Action is the catalyst for change, the force that